So, can you really outrun a bad diet?
So I found this tidbit of information about outrunning a bad diet. We're going to get back to that, how you can, how you can't. I've tried to give you a bunch of tools and tactics that I've used that have helped. Feel free to use your own. But this is really interesting. So it says,
while runners do tend to be much healthier than the general population, with lower rates of diabetes and heart disease, that's largely due to a healthy diet rather than running regularly, says Sarah Mahoney, PhD, chair of the Department of Exercise Science at Bellarmine University. In general, because runners run, they take care of their bodies by also eating well and resting. But not all of them. Some of them, and we all know one, subsist on donuts and burgers. In the short term, running can mitigate the negative health effects of that lifestyle. But over decades, exercise loses its protective abilities.
Daniel Kunitz for Runner's World on why you can't outrun a bad diet.
Basically, you can't outrun a bad diet in the long term. You can't outrun it in the short term. So let's find a long-term solution to it all. The best run-eating ratio is also going to take you some trial and error like it did me. And I ended up eating too much, ended up eating too little. So you got to find that middle ground. For some, it's running a lot and eating a moderate amount. And that carbohydrate ratio can change depending on so many different factors, how long you ran, etc., genetics, all these other things. For others like me, it's running just enough. So for me, I like to run between 60 and 70 kilometers or 40 to 50 mile weeks, and making sure that I do a lot of sprinting and a lot of strength work in there to make sure that I get out all that training load, but not on the distance approach. So I don't go out and smash easy miles out there, because that actually doesn't work for me. And I end up eating a lot. Whereas if I do the short, hard stuff, I end up not eating too much. And that transfers over to most distance running up until probably about the half marathon. If I get into the marathon, which I don't train a lot for, I cannot get away with eating little and running a little bit. You have to train actually a lot for that. So unless you're actually extremely overweight and you start running, it's going to be really hard for you to lose weight. And the more experienced you are, the 1, 5, 10, 20-year-long runners, it's going to be really hard for you to go, oh, I'm going to run to lose weight. And especially when you're in the race block. So make sure that you are in that calorie surplus. This isn't a hard and steady rule for everyone, but it helps me kind of give me guidelines. And I know a lot of people, specifically as you get older, into your mid-30s and late 40s, your metabolism slows down. So you have to change up your eating. Eating clean, which the slow-carb diet promotes, is a better way of doing things than eating dirty. And again, you feel amazing. So clean eating is eating, vegetables and good fats and proteins, omega-3s, etc. Dirty eating is the fries, chips, burgers. So it's the bad fats. It's the high-carb, high-fat diet, omega-6s, which aren't great, saturated fats, etc. Too much of it. A little bit's fine every now and then. Cheat days are fine. I like to use different eating styles and create a seasonal approach to it all, like I said before, which looks like cycling things from a monthly, weekly, daily, and even hourly type of approach. So it's like, all right, if I train really hard or I'm about to, I then will carb up. During the season, during the VO2 max speed build block, even in the off season, if I know I'm going to do a 2-hour ride or a, hour and a half run in the off season, I'm going to make sure I have a lot of carbs and maybe schedule my cheat day around that. That's actually a really good strategy. I'll try to do a episode around the slow carb diet and what I do around running in particular. So while the slow carb diet is great for 4 to 8 week fat loss, if done right, 100%, you can also cycle it in for maintenance and just maintaining the correct fat around your racing schedule. Find out more about the slow carb diet by clicking the link below in the description, show notes if you're listening, or go to theslowcarbcycle.com and get some free recipe ideas, which I've put together. You never know, it might help you in the off season with your recovery, in those off weeks, or if you're injured, and to help you find the right balance and amount of running and eating to help you feel and perform your best.